We'll call the Lincoln County Weed Board meeting to order. We'll start with a roll call.
Gibbons,
Here.
Paul Paulson,
Here.
Roger Simuchek,
Sonic here.
sorry,
That's okay.
Pam Gillespie, here, Ralph Hammer,
Here.
Russ Hagan, here, Terry Floyd, here, and Randy Smith, not present.
We'll start then with the approval of the minutes. This was our last meeting minutes, correct?
That is correct, yes.
I've read the minutes and I make a motion that we accept them as written.
I'll second it. Pam Gillespie.
Okay, we got a motion and a second, so that takes care of that.
Roll call.
Oh, the roll call?
Yeah.
We need roll call, okay.
Okay, Commissioner Gibbons,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes,
Roger,
Yes.
Pam,
Yes.
and Ralph.
Yes.
next will be our agenda for this meeting.
I so move. We accept the agenda.
I'll second that
Is
motion.
there a second? A second?
Yep.
I'll second it.
We'll do roll call.
Okay, Commissioner Gibbons,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes,
Roger,
Yes.
Pam,
Yes.
Ralph.
Yes.
okay, we'll move to the budget report. Terry?
All right. Not a lot to see on the budget report as of now for this year. Haven't really had anything going on. The guys are just, Russ is starting to work out there now, so I think we have, I think we did some spray logger updating. So that's what's coming out of machinery and automotive and the capital outlay. Some software stuff in there, so. Any other questions on that?
No questions then? Go to the spray report. Is that what you do?
Yep. Thank you.
No spraying done at this time. I've only got one of the usual 6 townships signed up, but I'll have to give them a call like I always do. I'm sure they'll have us again. Other than that, yeah, the weather hasn't been right, so we haven't done any spraying yet, but it'll start here shortly.
Okay.
Russ, where do you usually start? Is there a certain area that you begin, or is it,
I pick out my worst areas and I might run with the Ranger and try and hit them because they'll get doubled, but you gotta, with the county as long as it is, it's a world of difference on the north end, south end versus how much rain in that, and I gotta kind of figure out where it's getting. Right now, the north end's ahead of the south for moisture, so there's a few more weeds up there, so I might start up north. We get some more 90-degree days, then things start popping, so you, about every square mile is like a different field. You gotta kind of pick and choose where you go.
yeah, and other than last Saturday, it's been a cold April. It really has been. There isn't a whole lot of visibility.
I've been
of weeds.
watching, and thistles are starting, but your broadleafs, they're really not doing anything. There's a few, and a bunch of them are turning yellow because it got cold again. And like leafy spurge, I got a bad spot on 105. I kind of use that as a gauge when to start. They all come up about 2 inches, and now they haven't moved in a week. Now after this warm, they'll start, but until they start growing, I gotta be careful you don't go out or you waste it, you know. You got carryover, but it's better if I can get it on them.
Any other questions for us on that? We'll go to the equipment report then.
Equipment wise, like Terry said, I did get that truck put together. That's where the spray logger went into. I've pretty much calibrated all the equipment, kind of fine tuning some stuff, but everything should be ready to go. Shouldn't have any big issues that I can tell. With the bigger truck, it's gonna go faster, better this year. For you new ones, we had pickups, 500-gallon tank. I can spray, solid spray 6 miles. So if you're down by Beersford, you drive 25 miles down, spray 6, drive 25 back. Well, now I traded with the highway side and I have a truck with a 1,800-gallon tank. I can spray 21 miles. So when I leave, I save a lot of time running back and forth. A little bit of a catch-22. You get 1,800 gallons on, the wind blows you out, now you're sitting with a load on. So you gotta be cautious how you do it when the right day hits. I can get more done instead of, jumping around a bunch. But it'll help a bunch. Yeah, equipment-wise, we should be ready to go.
How much of the time do you spend full spraying the ditches? I mean, how much area do you do that with?
For that big truck,
Or
or
like where you spray the whole ditch, the whole mile, or whatever, how you want.
it depends on the area. I kind of look at every mile as like a separate field, because I can get on, I'll give you the example, 135 going north. That'll get solid sprayed all the way up to the county line, because it's Canadians every 75 yards, little patch, big patch. Get on 125 and go south, there's hardly nothing. So each road's a little different. You pick and choose whether I solid spray it, or if I just spray where you see. And if I spot spray a ditch just only where you see, you gotta come back in the fall and watch that close, because there's a lot of stuff under the grass you can't see. That's the backside of if you spot spray a bunch. But I've got my list of roads, and what I spot sprayed more last year leans higher towards solid spray this year. So one of it's keeping the chemical down, but you gotta be careful it don't get away from you too.
Sure. Does it extend out about 15 feet or 10 feet when you spray, or what?
I can hit right at 35 feet on a good, but I have 2 tips on each truck. I have an 11-foot and a 30-foot. Now, when I spot spray a road, then your shoulders are dirty. That gravel catches every weed seed off every load of hay from everywhere. And when you see the road's got a bunch of weeds growing in it, the gravel, then I've probably just spot sprayed. So I put 11-foot tip on where I can spray just the shoulder if there's a lot of gravel. And I can go out mid-year too and just try and pick up some of that. Now, the roads where they've done the shoulders, they'll add gravel because they've dropped off. Those get really dirty because with gravel, it doesn't hold no chemical. The weeds get going in there, and every time it rains, it washes the chemical out of it, so that first foot of the road is just dirty. And then we get them mowed. You can only dump so much chemical on there, so we mow them off when they get gravelled. But you gotta look at every road individual, just see how it's going.
What combinations do you use in the spring versus fall, of spray?
Use Tordon and Milestone, and Tordon will carry through the year. If I've spot sprayed, there's a maximum you can put on, and I stay at about a pint to a pint and a half is enough of Tordon. So if I'm at a clean road and I put a pint and I come back in the fall, I can still put a little more Tordon on. Milestone, I'll run 3 ounces if I'm chasing Canadians. If I'm not chasing Canadians, I don't put it in, and then your maximum is 7 ounces of that. So depending on where you're at in every road, you gotta know what you put on so you don't go over your maximum. But then I run around all summer with the Rangers. Once I get the big spraying done, pick a road and drive, and then hand spray and pick up spots and miss. Or getting up close to the fence so we ain't so close to crops.
Are you still spraying element 4 too on trees that you find along the routes when you go?
Yes, I am. I added tanks to both my Rangers to where, that's the other part of running the Rangers up and down the roads. I can pick up these small trees with that element. It's a brush killer is what it is. Works really good at that. And if there's a big bad spot of it, then Jared usually will get the tractor in to mow them down. Well, now next year I got little ones to get instead of a whole bunch of them this big, because it just takes too much chemical to get after that. I did do a bunch of hand cutting of some spots that are kind of sensitive. There's only one way to get rid of them, cut them out by hand.
How about trouble spots?
As far as trouble spots, last year, everybody pretty much got everything done. We have our usuals I gotta watch every year. I still gotta mess with 85th Street up there and, you know, parts Sioux Falls, parts Township. And I think they're gonna annex in that one part there to be Sioux Falls, won't it, 'cause Harrisburg's building school there. So it's a dance between everybody up there, and that's the only one that I really gotta chase early this spring, figure out who's gonna get after it.
Is that still that issue about whose responsibility it is?
Yeah, and if you look at it on the map, there's 4 different types of ownership there. Municipality ownership, so it's talk to this one, talk to that one, talk to this one, talk to that one, and I worked through it. I got a couple ideas I wanna hit up that if, the one I'm gonna ask them, there's a half mile on the south there that's the biggest problem. Somebody hire me to spray it instead of fighting trying to get them to do it. It'd take me half hour and I can be done. But, you know, gotta jump through that hoop. I gotta get talking to them. I haven't talked to them yet this spring, but
Is that included in one of these 3 that weren't resolved on here? You sent out 30 letters last year and it says here 3 weren't resolved. Is that one of the 3? or
one of
is
the
that-
3 of them. The other 2, they were gonna fall spray, said they did, but won't be able to say they're done until I go look this spring and see if they did. You know, I can only take their word, you know, they said they fall sprayed thistles, well, everything's dead out there. I'll know this spring.
Yeah,
And
you
if
kind
they-
of follow up on those ones
Yep.
that didn't get resolved though.
Yep, I have a list and then I go around and we have people that you've gotta constantly watch. You just make sure you drive by there and see, and it might take a phone call or, you know, they see me sitting by the side of the road. There's one, that's all I gotta do is stop and have a cup of coffee and he sees the truck and within a week he's spraying. I don't have to talk to him, but he knows I'm watching because it's a mess. But they're getting there, they're getting there.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions for me?
Doesn't look like it.
All
Thank
right,
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we need a motion to accept these reports?
I think we do.
No, I don't think so.
No?
I don't know, what, do you think you do? I don't, if you wanna make one, go ahead.
I suppose if I submitted them, you'd have to, but
You didn't submit it, just verbal?
I didn't submit a written report.
Okay.
I suppose if I did, then you would have.
Pretty hard to make a motion on something, then it isn't written because you could change it. No, that's okay.
So, we'll move on to old business now. You see any,
So the old business on there is new board members. I guess Terry Floyd, Lincoln County Highway Department, the weed pest supervisor. I would like to welcome 4 new members that we have listed here: Jim Gibbon, Ralph Hammer, Pam Gillespie, and Randy Smith. Randy was unable to be here today. I'm assuming he's probably farming, but so these are 4 new board members to the weed board. So welcome aboard. Thank you for taking the time to do this. So we appreciate that. So, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Terry.
we'll move on to new business then? No more old business, we have new business? The election of officers is what we need to do. So we're going to need some nominations for president.
Mr. Chair, was there a vice president last year or not? That was my question. Do we move the vice president up to president, or is there no precedent that we've done in the past?
I think last year, I think he was kind of the vice. So that position is probably open as well. So I'm assuming would probably be just as easy just to start over. To start nominating. Again, we'll need president, vice president, and a secretary, so.
I make a motion, nominate Paul for president for one more year.
Go ahead and laugh.
I'll second that.
Okay,
Just one more year, Paul.
one more here, all right. We need to do a roll call on that?
Yeah, is there any discussion?
Yeah, I know.
No? Yep. Do roll call?
Okay. Commissioner Gibbons,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes,
Roger,
Yes.
Pam,
Yes.
Ralph.
Yes.
all right, vice president. Can I make a nomination? I'll nominate Roger.
I'll second that.
Good, we have a motion second. All in favor? Do we do a roll call?
Yep. Commissioner Gibbons,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Roger,
Yes.
Pam,
Yes.
Ralph.
Yes.
Then we have the secretary job open yet. Have any nominations for that?
Do we nominate the one that didn't show up?
We should have nominated him for president.
I'll nominate Ralph Hammer.
Okay.
Okay, we got nomination for Ralph. Is there a second to that?
I'll second that.
All right. Do the roll call?
Commissioner Gibbons,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Roger,
Yes.
Pam,
Yes.
Ralph.
Yeah. Huh?
Okay, we have our officers all lined up. You have an announcement?
I have an announcement to make, and it's on the agenda. As most of you probably are aware, this past December, I believe it was, we lost one of our board members. Has been a longtime member on the Lincoln County Weed Board, and I think he's done some service on the State Weed and Pest Board as well. So I'd just like to read this announcement. Lincoln County Weed Board would like to extend our heartfelt condolences to the Herb Ulrichsen family on the passing of Herb. Herb served many years on Lincoln County Weed Board, the state weed boards. Herb was involved in agriculture his whole life and is very passionate about bettering Lincoln County and the state with weed control. So, thank you, Bob.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Jerry.
Is there any other business to take care of?
Do we used to have a community meeting. We're not going down that route anymore.
So, we're kind of going to steer away from that. You're talking the spring meeting
Right.
at Pizza Ranch. Yeah, I was informed by our state's attorney that's something that we probably need to start weaning ourselves off of from doing, just because of the funding that it takes to do that. Granted, we are notifying public officials, maybe township members and anybody else who wants to show up about spraying weeds, and usually we have a state official down to give a little presentation, but he said that we kind of need to go away from that. So, and doing that, it'd be very difficult to do a live stream meeting, again, which Board of Commissioners, county commissioners have instructed that we need to start live streaming all of our meetings. So the one that's might be a little difficult will be the weed tour, but we'll have to set it up in the wording when we set up the meeting that We're gonna be leaving at a certain time, coming back at a certain time from the tour. But so we'll be together as a group, as a quorum. But we'll be traveling, and then we'll come back here and then we'll have our meeting and that'll be live streamed. So, but,
And that'll
so,
still be in August.
yes, correct. Yep. So. All right.
Do we set our next meeting date today, or will you set that, Terry?
I will set that with Russ. Like I said, we'll talk with him about when we could get it set up. You know, I suppose we could do it fairly soon, or we could wait a little bit, like I said, do it in July. Hopefully, I guess if we did it anytime in June, I would think most of the farming stuff, everybody's got to have stuff in by then, hopefully. So maybe maybe we can get Randy here.
You'd have to be in the last week of June, either that or get right after the 4th of July, middle of July,
So
somewhere in there.
we'll, once Russ and I talk about it, we'll throw out a text. All of you receive text, good. We'll kind of keep you posted on that when the next meeting will be. So, but then thereafter, then we could set our meetings at our meeting, until we get back on track. So, if that works.
Well, thank you both for what you do.
You're welcome.
You bet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll pick a couple, 3 dates in there and send to you guys on a text that, you know, what works, because we gotta get this room, all that ready up.
Any other questions or anything today? If not, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Is there a
I'll
second?
second that.
Okay. Do a roll call?
Commissioner Gibbons,
Yes?
Paul,
Yes.
Roger,
Yes.
Pam,
Yes.
Ralph.
Yes.
Okay, meeting's adjourned.